Hello everyone, welcome to our Planolution channel. I'm Mish.
I'm Blues.
I'm Mastodon.
And I'm Rocco.
Hello everybody, welcome to this Planolution video. In this video, I, Mish, will be showing you guys every single card that will be in Set 1. By the way, Set 1's hopefully coming out soon. The reason it hasn't come out yet is because we're waiting for the shipment of the packs to arrive so we could publish them. And this video, as I said, I'm just going to show you the cards, and time to get into it. We're going to start off with every card on Planet Terraro. Terraro is a 3-element planet with the ground, earth element, water element, and air element, with a nice ability that pays you off for sacrificing small creatures. Acornio is just a decent creature with an ability when he dies, and he's an acorn. Emil doesn't want to be Emil, and when it's sacrificed, it makes another creature stronger. Berry Bush summons other creatures from your deck onto the field, and is a bush. Big Boy Gus is a fairly strong common card with really good stats. Big Sting is just a generic 3 DNA card. Blues pays you off for sacrificing him by adding an event card from your deck to your hand. Chomp makes other creatures as strong as himself and is a pretty cool fish. Cocoa Puff is just a creature with no ability. Double Decker Walking Tree evolves from Walking Tree and has 2 trunks. Doublefly is a pretty cool card that costs 1 DNA and draws you a card when it enters the field. Elderfish makes your other water element creatures stronger and has a pretty funny description. Feathered Egg is a no ability 2 DNA creature, which is an egg with feathers. Forby has no ability and has a pretty funny artwork in my opinion. Flower is a flower, and it gives you 1 DNA when it's sacrificed. Fluffy Chick evolves from Feathered Egg and is a pretty nice card because it draws you a card when it enters and gets stronger. Gamma Slow is a pretty good defensive creature. Giant Squish allows you to control one of your opponent's attacks each turn. Hairy Bird evolves from Fluffy Chick and is a pretty cool artwork and has a nice ability. Hammerhead Eel gets stronger the more creatures he defeats. Well, he gets harder to kill the more creatures he defeats, actually. Harky is just a generic 4 DNA card with no ability and pretty good stats. Hedosphere has pretty good stats once again with no ability. Hypnosnake steals your opponent's smaller creatures when it defeats them. And Legendary Bird Emperor, you can't be sure he exists, and he pays you off for having other birds on the field. Lionfish gains you DNA when he defeats other creatures. Little Silly Billy has a pretty cute artwork, and its sacrifice ability adds a Big Boy Gus from your deck to your hand. Oil Fluff adds a Cocoa Puff from your deck to your hand when he enters. Mastodon allows you to play him for cheaper by sacrificing creatures as you play him, and he's a legendary. Mish is the first 0 DNA creature that was in the game. Monument of Sacrifice allows you to activate sacrifice abilities more than once. Mr. Loud has pretty good stats for 5 DNA and has no ability. Mush is just an alright creature for 3 DNA. Mysterious Caves allows you to put a creature on dude as you play it, and then it comes out later with plus counters on it, and in my opinion, it has a nice artwork. Over here combos well with the next card, which is Overseer, and together they both get stronger. Owler gets stronger the more cards of him you have in your hand, and it's a wolf and an owl, if you can guess from its name. Plenison, when it's sacrificed, adds other guys from your deck to your field. Primal Chicken is not actually a chicken, but instead a T-Rex-like dinosaur. Quadrifly draws you cards when it enters, and it evolves from Doublefly. Rampaging Fish is an angry fish. Rocco puts other Roccos from your field when you sacrifice it. Sacrificial Lamb draws you a card when it enters or copies another sacrifice ability. Scouring Scavenger gets stronger the more creatures you sacrifice. Seabass Grass plays other creatures from your deck when you sacrifice it. Shotoceratops makes another creature way stronger when you sacrifice it. Spikerus makes other creatures poisoned. Sign Tribe kills a creature that kills it. Stone Sentinel is a combination of many parts of him which includes Stone Sentinel Body, Stone Sentinel Legs, Stone Sentinel Head, Stone Sentinel Left Arm, and Stone Sentinel Right Arm. Timaeus is a dinosaur that gets stronger when it fights air elements creatures. Pterohydroventus Beast is the first 3 elements creature, and so far the only one. Torpedo Fish is a 2 DNA creature with piercing. Tree is a 2 DNA defensive card, similarly to Gamasuel. Turbo Birdo allows you to sacrifice other creatures to keep him alive and has a pretty good attack for its DNA cost. Pterosaurus allows you to fight multiple creatures with him each turn as long as the creatures he fights are weak. Vera summons a Headless Vera from your deck onto the field when it dies. Walking Tree evolves from Tree and has a decent ability. Wolf puts another wolf from your deck equipped to him, and when the first wolf dies, the second enters the field. So those are all the cards for Planet Taro. On to Planet Vulcane. Vulcane is a 2-element planet with Earth element and Fire element. Its ability powers up your small creatures. All-Seeing Eel allows you to switch one card from your hand with a card on top of your deck once per turn. Blockhead has multiple lives. Colton stops your opponent from using their planet ability as long as he's on the field. Creature Carrier gives you one of 2 options for the ability to activate at the end of your turn. Emberling gets stronger whenever a fire creature enters, and makes the fire creatures that enter stronger too. Wrapped gets stronger whenever a creature dies. Fire Executioner, though not usually a creature, becomes a creature when something dies. Fire Dragon is a very powerful Vulcane legendary, and it has a powerful ability that helps it when battling. Firefly is a firefly, and it has no ability. Fire Wizard deals damage to your opponent once per turn, depending on the number of plus counters on it. Gassy Guy makes all your creatures weaker, but he has very high stats for his DNA cost. Growing Flame gets stronger each turn. Horse of Ash is a horse with no ability. Hungry Hippo devours creatures when it defeats them, and it gets stronger for each creature it devours. Jurassicosaurus allows you to add a Jurassicalopithecus from your deck to your hand, but you move on to your combat phase after that, so you can't evolve it into Jurassicalopithecus, which evolves from Jurassicosaurus and is a very strong creature. Lava Golem is the second Vulcane legendary, and it deals damage to more than just the creature it's attacking. Lava Moth is a no ability 2 DNA creature. Lava Newt starts off with very high stats, but gets weaker for every card in an opponent's hand. Lava Shark makes all your fish stronger when it defeats a creature an opponent controls. Leniosaurus makes your dinosaur-type creatures cost 1 DNA less to play, as long as they cost 4 more DNA. Magma Slug loses attack and gains health when fighting water element creatures. Quans is a 2 DNA creature with no ability. Returner can return to your field at the end of your opponent's turn, assuming one of your creatures has survived. Rock Bodyguard has Protector, and it has pretty good stats for his DNA cost. Sea Slug gets stronger for every water element creature in your graveyard, which is funny because he lives on Vulcane, which is primarily fire element planet. Sediment lives under other sediment, and is also a good defensive creature. Sheldon can equip to creatures you control to make them stronger, and when that creature dies, he enters the field. Stoog has a very funny description, but does not have an ability. Zombie Crab also doesn't have an ability, but it evolves into Volcano Crab, which you will see a bit later. Under Lava Plant gets stronger for every Earth element or Fire element creature in either player's graveyard. Volcano Crab evolves from Stumpy Crab, as I mentioned earlier, and once per turn, if it would be killed, it isn't killed and gets stronger instead. Vulcane Beast draws you cards whenever plus counters or minus counters enter the field. Zmai allows you to pretty much just draw a card when he enters. Zoomb poisons creatures that it fights. That's all for Vulcane. On to cards from Moonuff. Moonuff has the same elements on it as Terraro, which are Earth Element, Water Element, and Air Element, but its ability allows your Uff-type creatures to cost less DNA to play. Cuff is the first creature I'll be talking about on Moon Off, and its ability makes all your off-type creatures stronger when it enters. Can't Dance Enough is a cool equip spell, which can be played on any creature, but is the best when equipped to an off-type creature. Cocoa Puff from Planet Uff is a no-ability creature for 4 DNA, which has by far better stats than Cocoa Puff on Planet Terraro. Deep Sea Uff is a 3 DNA creature with no ability, but it's very good because it costs 1 less because of Moon Uff's ability and has good stats for 2. Doi Puff has no ability and is a decent creature. And Raged Fluff has a very powerful ability, which makes it stronger if it survives an attack, but that might not be happening all the time because it only actually has 1 health. Fluffy is just a 1 DNA creature with no ability. Fluffy Trunky is a 3 DNA creature with no ability, and I really like the artwork on this one. Giant's Cocoa Puff is the first super rare on Moon Uff, and its ability allows it to cost less for each Uff-type creature on the field. Also, it's I think the only super rare creature on Moon Uff. Haruff has a pretty funny description, and it has decent stats for its cost. Lord Uff pays you off for having water element creatures by defending them when they're attacked. Loyal Fluff from Planet Uff has the same ability as Loyal Fluff, which is adding a Cocoa Puff or Cocoa Puff from Planet Uff from your deck to your hand when he enters. Mark and Queston is a very powerful 4 DNA creature with no ability. Well, other than the fact that you can't play it if you already control Mark and Queston. Moon Cheese gets stronger if you control a neutral creature. Primal Cocoa Puff allows you to add another Primal Cocoa Puff when it enters. Relic Leviathan is the first legendary on Moon Uff, and it has a very powerful ability, which is, while this creature is in your graveyard, creatures you control gain 50 attack and health. Sarkuff is another 4 DNA creature with no ability. Siege Fluff is the second legendary on Moon Uff and has an ability which allows you to place a creature from your hands onto the field when you play him. Slippery Uff is just a 8 DNA creature with no ability. Snake sticking out of a rock will never die because when it dies, it returns to your hand. Squaff makes all your Uff-type creatures stronger. Uff Gathering adds Uff-type creatures from your top 5 cards of your deck to your hand. Uff Rides is a structure card, which, when you play a big Uff-type creature, puts a smaller one from your hand onto the field without paying its DNA cost. Uff Warcry is an event card which makes your Uff-type creatures gain attack, and whenever a creature you control attacks, it deals 100 damage to your opponent. Very Deep Sea Uff's ability pays you off for playing fish or Uff-type creatures. Water Puff is a 2 DNA creature with no ability, but very good stats. So that's all for Uff-type creatures. Onto the event cards in set 1. The first event card that I'll be talking about is Absolute Rage. You might have noticed that I've already talked about a couple event cards in the planet videos, but that's because I believe that they were closely enough tied to the planets. Absolute Rage makes the creature you control stronger in terms of attack, but weaker in terms of health. Asteroid Z just kills everything. Battle Torch makes the equipped creatures stronger. Boost Infestation draws you cards for each boost on your field or in your graveyard, and also gains you DNA. Burning Lightning deals damage to a creature an opponent controls, and it's a speedy event card. Butterfly Effect equips the creature you control, makes it stronger every turn, and eventually puts a lot of those creatures onto the field. Edge in the Universe forces every player with a lot of creatures on the field to sacrifice some of them. Fire Offering has an ability that triggers depending on the life totals of the players. Hefatoon equips the creature, and when that creature fights, you get to reveal the top card of your deck and make the equipped creature stronger depending on the DNA cost of the revealed card. Volcanic Reef pays you off for attacking with water element or fish-type creatures. Was Narnia Virus weakens all strong creatures. Melt the Mountaintops allows you to cheat out a fire element creature from your hand onto the field. Mysterious Laser can deal damage to any creature, depending on the amount of DNA you pay. Planetary Collision copies your opponent's planet ability. Portail stops an attack from a creature attacking you and redirects it back at the opponent. Random Apparitions allows you to play out cheap creatures from your hands onto the field for cheaper, but they return to your hand later on. Shiny Armor equips to a creature and gives it more health, and also makes it so it can't be attacked by more than 2 creatures each turn. Those are all the event cards, and on to the last category, which is the no elements creatures, which are there very few of. These are the last couple of cards, and the first of them is Asteroid Sitter, which pays you off for having cheap neutral creatures in your deck. It also has a very nice artwork. Kitsune is a 3 DNA creature with no ability. Mysterious Asteroid has a very funny description and draws you a card as it enters. Clocky has Protector, and when he's attacked, allows you to return a creature from your graveyard to your hand. Sapient Stone is just a big creature. Space Speeder has Piercing, and when it deals damage to your opponent, it gets stronger. And that was the last card from set 1. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Comment down below what your favorite card was. Also, we asked a couple of times what videos you'd like to see, but never really got responses. So please comment down below what videos you'd like to see so we can make more of those videos. Please subscribe, like, and turn on the notifications so you could know when we post videos. See you in the next video, and
Goodbye.